our chair pose on our way to mountain. So exhale, settle the hips down. Inhale, arms swoop to the ears. Exhale, deepen your chair. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, straightening up to mountain. Exhale, hands to the heart. And the next inhale, lift up onto the toes. One more breath here. On your exhale, settle the heels down. Swan back forward. Inhaling halfway up, either hands to the shins or to the hip crease. Exhale, forward fold. Use our next inhale to send the right leg back. So we're into our runner's lunge on the left side. So taking our lunge sequence on the left, if you want to stay in crescent lunge, keep the right knee up off the floor. If you want to come into Anjane, our low lunge, settle the right knee, release the toes back. So in the lunge of your choice, take your inhale, sweep the arms up. So by now, since we've gone through it a couple times, you might feel like you already have that little tilt in the pelvis, but if not, just remind yourself, tailbone down, roll the pelvis, kind of the top of the pelvis rolls back until you get that nice stretch, front of the right thigh. If you're up in the crescent lunge version and you want to bend the knee, that's fine. Get a little extra roll back in the hips. And then try to straighten as much as you can. Press back through the right heel. On our next exhale, hands drop down to the heart. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. On your exhale, twist into the left. Coming back to center. And your exhale, hands settle to the mat. Now on our way back, we have to even things out. So you can either step back through down dog or take an inhale, left leg comes up to dog split. If you're up in that dog split, use your exhale to sink the right heel down. On your exhale, left foot comes down to meet the right in down dog. Inhale, roll forward into plank, or drop the knees for knee down plank. We'll take our exhale, lower down to the mat, nice and slow, make those arms work. This time for our back bend, sweep the arms back along the sides of the body. Inhale, arms and legs lift for both. One more inhale, lengthening through the fingers and toes. Exhale, release. Arms come back underneath the shoulders. We'll inhale, press into the palms, come up through table. Lengthen back through the tailbone to come back into child's pose. One more deep breath, resting in our child's pose. If you feel like you've lost that connection to the breath or that ujjayi sound to the breath. Just use this time in child's pose to reconnect to that. It's the most important part of our practice. Next inhale, roll forward into table. Curl the toes underneath. Exhale back into down dog. Either holding your down dog or take an inhale, right leg comes up for dog split. On our exhale, bend the right knee, draw the right foot up in between the hands. Now we're going to windmill ourselves up into a warrior two. So before we go up, we got to set the feet up. Left sole of the foot drops down onto the floor, toes are out 45 degrees. We're going to inhale, lead with the left arm to sweep up. So not our usual way for coming up into warrior two. So check the front knee, make sure that's going out toward the little toe. Make sure that the shoulders are relaxed. So on your inhale, lift the palms up toward the ceiling, draw the elbows into the sides, and sink the shoulder blades down. Inhale, extend the arms out, flip the palms down. With our inhale, let's take a little reach through the right fingertips. And then with our exhale, reach back through the left fingertips. So it's like somebody's holding on to each arm. On your inhale, they're pulling you to the front. On your exhale, they're pulling you back. Now coming through the center and trying to find the midpoint from that forward and backward reach so that the shoulders are right under those points of the pelvis. See if you can take your exhale and sink the hips straight down. So the tendency in your warrior two is to sink forward, and what's going to happen is the knee is going to come too far out. You want to sink yourself down. If you need to adjust the feet, I'd rather you slide the back foot farther away from you. One more inhale, you're lifting up through the crown of the head, reaching out through the fingertips. On your exhale, reach forward, reach out through the right fingertips, and then windmill the hands down on either side of the right leg. Exhale, step back to down dog or dog split with the right leg up in the air. We're going to take an exhale, bend the right knee, draw that leg underneath you. We're coming up into pigeon. So drop the shin onto the mat right behind the hands. And then make some little adjustments until you're comfortable in your pigeon and you feel like you're centered on the midline. So you don't want to be leaning to the sides and you don't want any sensation in the knee here. So make sure that you find a comfortable position for your foot where it's not twisting in the knee at all. And exhale, let's drop down onto the forearms. Now, first trick to safely deepen into our pigeon and work into the hip is by curling the left toes underneath and kind of walking them back, walk them away from you. And you'll feel that as you lengthen through the left leg, you sink farther toward the floor, you sink deeper into the right hip. If you're comfortable in your pigeon pose here and you want to deepen farther, you can walk the arms all the way up, lay yourself over the right leg. Farther, you're actually going to walk yourself up halfway. Come back up onto your forearms And then you're going to curl left toes underneath, lift the left knee up off the floor. Walk the toes back just like we did before to lengthen through the leg, but then don't settle the knee down toward the floor. Just work on sinking the hips straight toward the floor. So if you have the knee up and the curls turned under, you can feel that it's a much more active pigeon pose because the left leg is working so hard to stay lifted up, but you're still getting that nice opening through the right hip. So whichever version of pigeon you're in, let's take our inhale, walk up onto the palms, lift the chest. Curl the left toes underneath and lift the hips up. On your exhale, left leg, or right leg steps back into down dog. Let's take an inhale, roll forward into plank or half plank. Exhale, chaturanga. This time our back bend is going to be Sphinx pose. So bring the forearms down onto the floor. Make sure that the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Fingers are spread. Pads of the fingers are pressing down into the floor. Legs are relaxed. On your inhale, lift the chest up and just slightly traction the arms back toward you. Exhale, press the forearms down into the floor and try to lift the belly up off of the mat. Inhale, lift the chest in between the arms. Exhale, pull back, lift the belly button. One more time like that. Inhale, chest lifts up. Exhale, pull the belly back. And then release. We'll take the hands underneath the shoulders. On your inhale, up through table. Exhale, back into child's pose. You can do a little wiggle from side to side with the hips to loosen the lower back. On your next inhale, roll forward into table. Curl the toes underneath, press back into down dog. We're going to go over to our left side still. Up into our standing pose. You can either take an inhale, lift the left leg up into dog split, or if you want to hang out in your down dog, that's fine. So either way, we're going to take our next exhale, draw the left knee under the body and step the foot up in between the hands. And then set the feet up to windmill into our warrior two. Right sole of the foot planted onto the floor, toes are angled out. Inhale, sweep up with the right arm. So first thing, check that knee, roll it out to the little toe. Let's take an inhale, flip the palms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, draw the elbows into the side body. Sink the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, lengthen the fingers out, flip the palms down. Now we'll start that little movement from side to side. On your inhale, the person is pulling your arm to the front. On your exhale, they're pulling back.